video, we will look at the different forms of harassment, the problems they present, and the consequences that result from harassment.
We will also look at student views on what legislators need to do to stop harassment, and talk to some politicians on what is being done to prevent harassment in schools.
The first thing I try to find out is, why does a person engage in harassment? You know, what causes a person to try to intimidate someone? What causes a person to engage in bullying? Because I suspect that the person who is involved in harassing other people has some feelings of insecurity. So I like to get to the root of it so that I can be sure it doesn't happen again. Now, if it is harassment more than just words, but if it's accompanied by battery with physical violence, and it is very severe, then the young person might end up spending some time in secure detention.
Harassment is most commonly classified into 3 different categories. These categories are verbal, physical, and sexual harassment. Verbal harassment is the most common form of harassment. It can be something as small as teasing or as serious as a threat.
Hey, queer! What's your problem? Wuss?
Are you okay?
Go away!
Words can hurt people more than aggressors think. Words that depict racism, religion, sexual orientation, or disabilities can hurt everyone around. Many of these words are hurtful and unacceptable.
Oh my gosh, did you hear about Carly last night with her boyfriend?
I know, she's such a skank.
She is so easy.
Hey, Carly, I heard about last night. What?
Physical harassment is oftentimes a result of verbal harassment. Usually the aggressor attacks the victim when the victim is alone and the aggressor is in a group. Serious physical harassment can result in death or a lifelong disability. Sexual harassment can happen to both boys and girls. It could be something as small as snapping a bra strap or as serious as a physical attack. Many people experience harassment, often by the same aggressor. Each form of harassment has severe consequences.
So do you want to go out Friday night? You said you want to go out Friday night.
Did you guys hear about Nick and Wilson harassing Justin the other day?
Yeah, I didn't think they'd do something like that.
I thought they were different.
Hey guys, what's going on?
We don't really want to talk to you guys.
Typically, we'll start off with a detention hearing. We'll present some facts as we know them at that time to the judge. That child may, in some instances, have to spend a few days in a secure detention facility. Then we'll come back to court. If I'm able to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, then the consequences, again, could be probation, anger counseling, anger management counseling, or continued form of detention or incarceration in either the youth shelter or a secure detention facility. So it can be serious.
But if in fact you treat people badly, there may be a response you don't anticipate. You know, people don't just naturally take bad behavior. You can start out trying to harass someone, thinking you can bully them, and you may end up being beaten. Or you may end up being kicked out of school. You may end up being sent out of your home to some place where you can get help. You may end up going into what we call a secure detention facility, or you may end up going to the Department of Correction, or you may end up getting it. You may end up appreciating the fact that you should not mistreat people, that there is a way to settle disputes, and you can do it without causing people grave harm or putting them in fear.
Harassment has been an increasing problem in schools over the past few years. According to the American Association of University Women, 83% of girls and 79% of boys have said that they have experienced some form of harassment by other students. Recently, Indiana passed their new bullying bill to try to stop bullying that can lead to harassment. We had a chance to talk to Dr. Sue Ellen Reed, the State Superintendent of Education, on what the bill is expected to do and what her opinions are.
How do you think the bullying bill will improve the education in schools?
Well, one of the things that we're most concerned about is the educational climate in school. Do kids feel safe? Are they in an area where they feel good about school so that they're able really to learn? And so in this day and age when accountability means so much, it's very, very important that students are at their best. And so we feel that this bill would help us to give instruction to teachers and would allow them then to work with students to alleviate any of those problems.
I think the bullying bill is a very timely piece of legislation. I think as a counselor, one of my jobs is to look at things in different ways, and I would guess that there are people that think that the bill could be improved by maybe providing services directly to families and to kids. I know that it sets out funding for the training of staff, for like safety specialists that schools have, but I think it could maybe go a little farther and perhaps providing funding for training kids directly, having the funding come straight to the schools, let schools use that money to provide services such as training in assertiveness or communication skills or coping skills or conflict resolution, and having that money perhaps go straight to the schools, let the schools give the services directly to the kids rather than just training some trainer.
The Civil Liberties Union is an organization that stands for freedom of speech for all people. We had a chance to talk to Fran Quigley, the director of the Indiana branch of the Civil Liberties Union. He had another opinion on harassment in the bullying bill.
Harassment in schools is a real serious issue for all of us, and at ICLU we take it very seriously as well. We think that schools can and should have policies prohibiting harassment of students for a variety of reasons. We think it's especially an issue when students have different sexual orientations or different interests than the norm, and they get teased and bullied a lot in those settings. And a lot of kids have a lot of difficulty because of that, and that's something that we take very seriously, and we think that schools can and should have policies prohibiting that kind of action.
We feel that the bullying bill is a good start for schools, but it does not go far enough. Candidates in the fall election need to address this important issue. Funds also need to be provided for programs like the Ophelia Project to help victims and bullies.
The Ophelia Project is a non-for-profit organization that's a sister project from the National Ophelia Project. And the point of the Ophelia Project is to educate girls, their parents, schools, and just caring community members about relational aggression, what it is, why it's harmful, and solutions for it.
Different types of harassment occur in schools everywhere. Don't stand by and allow harassment to happen. Take steps to prevent a situation from escalating.
Don't be an aggressor. Any type of harassment is a serious offense, no matter how small it may seem or what form it is.